Welcome to Tell the Damn Story, the show that explores the many ways to navigate the successes and failures that aspiring and struggling writers face to make your journey that much easier.
Chris, can you hear me? Chris, are you back?
I'm still driving from Pittsburgh.
Hit the brakes.
What's up, Alex?
You were on the road.
Bro.
Again.
Yes, last weekend I had to tear myself away from Glorious and
Wait.
myself.
Glorious didn't go with you?
Glorious doesn't go to this stuff. She's like, you're on your own. Get out the house.
Give me some space.
You know what she was saying? She was like, I have a whole weekend of say yes to the dress or whatever. Or some other, she's got a couple of shows that she won't watch in front of me because I'll goof around and you know, these are serious to her. So she enjoyed herself with 15 episodes of that stuff and got rid of me for a while. So yeah, I drove, I think it was like 6.5, 7 hours from northern New Jersey to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
I would say 87% of that drive were hills and valleys of beautiful trees through Pennsylvania. Yes, it is gorgeous. It makes you remind you that someone's behind this whole deal bigger than us. But yeah, got to Pittsburgh, very, very blue collar town, and I went to the Westin Hotel, and it was the Halloween people all over the hotel, bro.
What were you there for?
The Horror Writers Association have an annual convention called StokerCon, and they do panels, discussions. They do a thing called the Final Frame competition, which is short horror film competition that run the gamut from really scary to hilarious. And it's always a highlight. That's the Friday night. And Saturday night is the awards, the actual Stoker Awards.
As in Bram Stoker, right?
15 or 20 categories there.
Oh, look how my hair keeps disappearing.
There's like a banquet and then the award show and then a reception after it. There was a reception after the final frames, but most of it is panels and readings. I did a reading, part of the poetry open mic. I didn't do my own reading.
Before you go any further, because you're setting it up beautifully, I just want the folks who are going, what's this got to do with, what are these folks going to get out of taking this journey with you today on this episode?
Well, one of the things I did was I took videos and I was successful at least half the time, and photos, and I put together kind of like introductions and then sent you the introductions, the clips.
48 of them, by the way, folks. I want you to send 48 individual files, yes.
Some of them were pictures, still pictures. Some of them were files, like a clip or two from this panel, from that panel. I didn't want to be rude, so I just took little clips here and there. And the whole idea was to give you kind of a feel. If you've never gone, a lot of the people who watch this show, and we are grateful for every single one of the people who do, but a lot of them are either emerging writers, or they're fascinated by writing, or they're just looking to improve or expand on what they do with writing. And going to a convention like this, going to a StokerCon or some of the other writing conventions is a great way to make contacts, to meet your tribe, to find out more information straight from the horse's mouth, right? From writers. There are writers on the panel. There are agents on the panel. There are publishers on the panel. There were pitch sessions where you could go in and actually pitch your projects and stuff. So you'll see just a bunch of different stuff like that. Now, Alex, we would be remiss. We would be remiss.
And we would never want to be that.
No, we would be remiss if we did not warn people that the introductory videos I did on Tuesday morning, Monday morning, having driven back 6.5, 7 hours from Pittsburgh, right back through the Eden that is the Pennsylvania forest, which is most of the state, and gorgeous, but God, it goes on forever. And you can hear it in the introduction. So please.
He's saying he was fatigued a bit, folks.
Yes, but if you know it in advance, feel free to laugh at me. You can do, if you're a drinking sort, You can do a drinking game every time I say, "Oh," and you will not make it through the episode. Okay, we are legally not bound for the stomach pumping that you will have to go through should you take up that challenge. Because and throughout it, I do get some things factually wrong. Like I didn't describe what James Chambers does very well. And please, if Gwendolyn Christie ever hears that this is out there, I apologize for mispronouncing your name in the video.
Although we
And
corrected in the visual, in the
that's in
writing.
we did, but
Yeah.
so it's just hopefully it's something that people find interesting and find, oh, that's kind of cool. I'd like to do that.
Let
Now.
me also add here, folks, that again, those of you who have followed us, and shame on you if you haven't been, but
Yes,
those of
because
you
we
who
have a
followed
few
us,
episodes out.
right, really, you'll know that Chris and I are not shy in talking about struggles that we go through
Right.
to get our work done, to even approach the work, the imposter syndrome, all those things. And a couple of episodes back, Chris talked about this, the challenge of going on this event and
It was
what may
really
or may not
hard.
happen.
It
So,
almost didn't happen. Yeah.
yeah, so you're going to get to find out now, not only, yes, he went, what he
But
saw to a certain extent, and you're going to get to hear, and we're not going to lay it out for you, you're going to have to listen. You're going to hear some pearls of wisdom, which will definitely make those of you who are, as you say it in the video, a little bit of the spiritual mindset to go, the universe was talking to this man.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
It's
All right.
fascinating. It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. So, yeah, let's go and
So,
have some fun. Be gentle with me because
yeah, be
it's pretty
kind. Be kind.
hilarious how tired I am. I was so tired, I didn't know I was that tired. And we were just going back through the
He
footage
thought he
now,
was
and
still in Pittsburgh.
I was definitely doing some cringing. But the clips from Pittsburgh are cool.
Okay, here we go, folks. Stay with us.
Enjoy. We'll see you later. Hey, I'm Chris Ryan. How are you? And this weekend I was at StokerCon in Pittsburgh, which is about 6 hours of driving through the lush peaks and valleys of Pennsylvania. More trees than you would imagine, and glorious. If you don't have a spiritual bent, drive across Pennsylvania, and you'll start saying, "Well, maybe the world's bigger than me." So anyway, I wanted to share some stuff that was offered at StokerCon, some people I met, some interviews, some of my glorious successes, and not so much. So check it out. Okay, so the first thing I did when I got to the con was I ran upstairs. I didn't even check into my room. Ran upstairs. I registered, and they gave a couple of things. First thing they gave was this cool little coin. They didn't have to do this, but check that out. In a little case, it was just this cool little thing to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the StokerCons. And I thought that was such a nice and generous touch. And then they had, wait a minute, I got to do this right, given proper respect. Nightfire provided bags for like a goodie bags. So we got little tchotchkes like key rings and paper bookmarks, a sticker, more stickers, some art, and then get this, the souvenir and anthology that we get each year about all the guests of honor and other articles. Really great reading, and it was done by Danielle Ackley McPhail. She does a great work, and this one was fantastic. And then we got a couple of books for free, right? Promotional books. So this one here, check that out. And then Eric LaRocca gave one out, which is pretty cool. And then Dina Helm right there. Okay. Now I didn't, Charlie Lee South was the first one, so we'll give him a second look. So that's kind of cool. Right out the gate, You already have some reading. You already have some nice things done for you, and that's how you're greeted at StokerCon. So that's the first step. The next step, well, I need a new video for that. The next thing I did was I put 20, 25 or so copies of It's Been a Privilege on the Freebie table, because you should always make an offering to the gods. And from there, I went to an open mic poetry reading, and I was able to read 2 poems from my current work in progress. And here's the video. Okay, I was so nervous that I forgot to turn on the video. But yeah, I was able to shout out Sarah Tantlinger, whose reading on Galactic Terrors inspired me to write poetry again. And she happened to be there. And of course, you pay homage to Linda Addison, who of course runs the open mic. And then I read both the poems, and the reaction was extremely strong. And that's one of the blessings you can get at a thing like StokerCon, is you can find out, oh, I might be on the right track here. So that's pretty cool. Another word about the Freebie table. When I was giving these to the Freebie table, a gentleman was there putting some of his own right here, Christopher Hawkins. And I picked a copy of his up, and he picked a copy of mine up. That's just the right thing to do. So I'll read his, and hopefully he'll read mine, and we'll both post reviews, and that will be cool. That's part of the community that you experience at StokerCon. One of the things you have to be ready for when you go to a con of any kind is that you have to be ready to roll with unforeseen situations. For example, when I finished the poetry reading, I was excited, and I finally went to check into my room. It was 5:30, 5:45, and they told me they still didn't have my room ready. So they said, wait a few minutes. They took my phone number. Next door to the registration was Billy's Burgers, or Bill's Burgers. So I went in and had me a burger and a 0 alcohol Guinness Stout. Now, those phrases should not go together. So I thought, wow, this will be terrible. Let me try it. It was great. And when I finished that, the room was ready. I went upstairs. I'll show you a couple pictures of the room. And they upgraded me for the weight. And they gave me a big king-size bed, which was nice, and a beautiful view of the city. And I have a couple pictures of that. Most interesting thing for me was in the far background, you can see the 2 stadiums, for the Steelers and for the Pirates. But more interesting than that was the picture that I'm going to show you of the alleyway below my window. Man, I looked at that alleyway and thought about scenes for a Drabble project I have. Yeah, I have to include that. So, inspiration everywhere, folks. Check them out. Let's move now to a couple of pics from the opening ceremony. There was some problem with the mic, but everyone enjoyed it, and it was just an introduction to the people who are running it and the guests of honor. I'll show only a few pictures, crowd scenes, and then you'll see James Chambers, who's co-consultant and co-runner, I would say, of StokerCon. He's looking down, holding the mic, I think. And then the next one is Mark Abbott. He's more involved this year. And, so you get a sense. Okay? Cool. Yeah. I forgot to check and make sure the video was still the selection. So I missed their interviews. Karen and Professor Kendall Phillips were saying how going to cons like StokerCon are great for meetups, and making new friends and connections and comparing notes and like that. And Teal was saying that for emerging writers of any age, this is really great for finding your tribe and knowing, wow, I'm not alone in this, which was so key. wish I had done the interview successfully. However, I do have one now with Dennis Crosby, and it's an actual interview. Let's check it out. All right, we're here with Dennis Crosby. Dennis, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so Dennis Crosby's the name. I am out of San Diego. Happy to be here in Pittsburgh for StokerCon. I'm a writer of urban fantasy and horror and just about anything that is fun, exciting, that I can put a little twist into.
And you are one of the legendary coordinators of previous StokerCons, and you still have a hand in on the current ones. Can you tell us what your jobs are this weekend?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't have a direct job this weekend, but for this con, I was the sponsorship coordinator. So I was able to connect with a lot of the sponsors that helped put this on, got them set up with their tickets, with their tables, that type of thing, and just made sure that there was enough here for everybody to really have a good time and enjoy it.
Excellent. And what would you say to an emerging writer who's considering coming to StokerCon?
I would say put your fears aside. You know, I think the biggest thing about coming to a con for the first time is feeling intimidated by everybody, thinking everybody knows more than you, thinking that you are not good enough or that you're not a real writer yet. Come to this because there are writers of all levels, there are writers of all knowledge levels, and I think building that network, it really starts someplace. The horror community is one of the most welcoming communities in the writing community in general. I think you find yourself having a great time here. So take a chance, make a couple friends to start, and you'll find yourself growing from that.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
You got it. Thank you.
See, I can conduct interviews. Here's another one by the guy who runs the writing group I'm always complimenting, Tomorrow's Writers, and this is Charles Barouch, doing both self-promotion and encouragement for people thinking about coming to StokerCon. All right, we're here with Charles Barouch. Charles, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the book you're holding?
So, the book I'm holding is part of a large collection of westerns that I'm producing. This is the sixth one that I have out. The seventh one is coming out in June. The eighth one is coming out in July. I'm finishing the one that's coming out in August. And I'm working on other things besides the westerns.
So what you're saying is you're a slow writer. God bless you.
I am a terrible slow writer.
So you're here at StokerCon. What do you want to accomplish at StokerCon this weekend?
For me, it's about being in the room. These are the people I want to spend time with. This is where I get my energy from. I enjoy having a seat at this table. It means a lot to me. And while I write to be read, I also write to have a seat at this table.
Excellent. And what would you tell a young writer or a new writer, not necessarily young, who is thinking about attending a StokerCon?
A lot of people talk about writing as a lonely profession, but this is where you find your tribe, this is where you find your commonality, this is where you get a chance to talk to people and find out your problems are not just your problems, other people have experienced them, find out other ways to approach things, get opened up to new ideas, and every now and then get genuinely surprised by the readings and other things that are going on.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
There are a lot of panels at any convention. StokerCon, some of the best panels. We're going to show you two tiny little clips from the agent and publisher panel, and you can hear, if you listen closely, you can hear what they're looking for when you come to pitch them, when you come to pitch them for your project. So check it out.
You prefer in a pitch to you? What's your favorite kind of like short, concise? Do you want tagline, whatever? So these people that are pitching to you will know.
Completed manuscript, word count, genre, if it's a single title or if it's going to be a trilogy or a series. And the first book is complete.
So I'll say for events like this, I don't mind if the book is not completed because this is your chance to get some face time, but just let us know up front if it's not finished. Other than that, tagline, brief description, a little bit of bio, and then all the things that Cherry mentioned, word count, genre, audience, and then I want time to ask you questions.
I'm most interested in your hook. If you have a frame, I would love to hear that. A frame is like, this is
Lord of the Rings meets Jaws, something like that.
Absolutely. And if you are previously published, I'd also like to know your background in sales if you have any.
For me, I would just add the hook is really important to me if we're doing a pitch, if I'm really just, it's about the idea. And also, some comps. I know people hate that word, but, books that, or even just be books that inspired you to write this book, that tells me a lot. We write what we read, so that always helps.
I was also going to say that I love comps, and I'm good with pop culture comps. They don't have to be book comps, and really if it's a comp, for me, if it's a comp that's won the Man Book Award, I'm almost certainly not going to have any idea about the book, so the more pulpy the comp, the better. Also, if you have cool tattoos, I'm down.
Okay, now I want to give you some examples, a couple of clips from a fun panel as opposed to the agents and publishers, which is more like a business panel. But there are a lot of panels that are just about fun, just about how much we love this stuff. This one is about the legacy of Frankenstein. And you're going to see John Langan, he's in the red vest. Teal James Glenn, he's kind of in a purple suit jacket. Gwendolyn Kirsty, I'm sorry if I got the name wrong, Gwendolyn. She's in a red dress. You'll see different clips of them speaking about either the book itself or so many of the movies and cartoons and everything that came out of Mary Shelley's book. It's a lot of fun, and that's what I want you to take away, is how much you can just go and enjoy your nerddom. Yeah!
The book. She was living with a poet. And I have done some of the monologues from the book. And I quote sections of it in this, in the Paradise series, because I went back to the original book. I make them directly a sequel. And some of the language in it, it is at Coleridge's level. It is at Milton's level. You can almost find any 5 paragraphs and read them in a row, and you'll think, oh my God, did Shakespeare write this? Did Hawthorne write this?
Yeah.
Because she lived in an age when language mattered, not just the story.
Yeah.
And so again, that's another level of the book that will live forever. The language, not just the story it's telling.
Longing, and I think that that's something that, and here's the thing, we probably all sometimes are a little bit like Victor. We probably all, especially, we're writers, we create worlds, right? Like, we're like, hey, my ideas are so good, I want you to pay me to read them, right? There's a certain amount of, we are creators. And there is maybe a little bit of narcissism in there, hopefully not too much. Hopefully we keep that in check, but I think all of us probably have a little bit more Victor than we want to admit, so.
All right, as we wrap up this StokerCon weekend, I want to talk about the sales room where, there's a couple of events where you can buy books. One is the mass signing, where there's tons of authors with their books ready to autograph them, buy them. There you go. You can get everybody that you're interested in. But also there's the book room, and they have companies out there. One of them I saw was Grendel Press. Very cool group of people. And then you get in that little bag, you get some cards, cool bookmark. Yo, what's up? Some writing utensils is always good for writers. A little catalog of what they have to offer. A little notebook with a really cool logo, Grendel Press, baby. And then you have a bookmark with a reading list. And you can do ratings. I thought that was a brilliant idea. And then I picked up a couple of their books because they're really interesting. I wanted to see what they did with anthologies. So this is Grendel Press Anthology. It's not number 4. This one is Volume 3, which they handle that pretty well. Really cool, really cool. I also picked up from Raw Dog Screaming Press, an amazing company. I picked up Pedro Inguez's the Build a Monster Workshop. It's poetry, horror poetry, very cool. And the thing I'm most looking forward to is I met Meg Ripley. And I also, after meeting her, I listened to a podcast the next morning while I was getting ready, and she talked about this, and man, it was so exciting. I pitched to my wife that we would read it both, so Glorious and I each have a copy that she autographed and personalized, which was a nice touch, and we're going to read that together. So next thing you're going to see is just kind of a roundup of photos from the con, so you get a feel of how approachable everybody is and how you're just on, even ground with everybody. You can see anybody and talk to people, and there'll be some more panel pictures, just all gibberish stuff. I hope this was fun. I hope it makes you want to go to cons. I hope it makes you want to think about Horror Writers Association, if that's the kind of stuff you write, and maybe, go to your own StokerCon next year. All right. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you soon. Check out these pics. Cool. Whew, I tell you what, Alex, that was so much fun. Oh my God, I love watching me. I tell you, there's not many things I like better than watching me.
How many times did he say?
It was 367.
Yeah,
it was
there
367 times.
Yeah.
So if you did take up the drinking game, you're dead now.
Yeah.
So alcohol poisoning is not our responsibility.
No, we don't know you.
We warned you.
We never heard from you. Yeah, we don't know you. Yes.
I hope people got some good stuff out of that. It's just a little glimpse. And if you heard, from Dennis Crosby and from Charles Barouch, they kind of, without realizing, well, Charles might have had a hint because he knew I was struggling, but Dennis didn't. And they said exactly,
Yeah, those were not set up.
You'll find your tribe.
Yeah, they were not set up. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a setup at all. And it was really appreciative. And I was stunned when they were saying that. And I'm on the other side of the camera going, wow. Karen and Kendall both had great things to say. And we had a paraphrase because I thought it was still on video and it wasn't. And the same thing happened with Teal James Glenn, but he's been on this show.
Yes.
Teal's been on this show 72 times. So
and he'll be back again.
Yeah, he can make fun of me later. But it was fun stuff. That's just the tip of the iceberg. I probably went to somewhere between 12 and 20 panels, filled up entire notebooks with good actionable stuff. You can go, if you saw the Legacy of Frankenstein clips, you can go to just fan type stuff all weekend, or you can go to business stuff all weekend. They try to program it so it's 1 and 1 of those kind of things. So you're not saying, damn, I want to go to these 7 things and they're all at the same time. They try very hard not to do that. They also have a remote feature. I don't know if you can still purchase that at, I think it's or horror.org. I don't know if it's open to the public there, but you could try. And they're whole panels that you can watch. There was a lot of great stuff. You don't need to be nervous. You don't need, and then this was the biggest. There was almost 900 people were attending this, so it was a lot of crowds.
There's a couple of things I want to point out too.
Yes, sir.
For those of you who are listening to this, more power to you, and it's great, it's wonderful. But if you have a visual image, if you are watching this on our YouTube channel, which you can go to and check for your fun, the images of the panels, the writers, a lot of the people moving around, it's in a very diverse, eclectic, mixed bag of folks.
Yes.
So you can't say, oh, well, horror writing or fiction writing is only for blah, blah, blah. No. Age range, everything is going on there. And it really speaks to the power of story. Because it's not one group of or one type of people writing one genre of fiction for the world. It's this cornucopia of people.
Oh yeah, there's
and I think
tons of different ethnicities,
right,
tons
and
of different
that's a
lifestyle orientations.
That's a big push. That's a big push against some of the garbage that's being spewed right now in terms of media. If you're an aspiring or emerging or struggling writer, whatever your culture, ancestry, race, life choice, any of that kind of, you can still do this. The door is open. and tell your story. Absolutely. And this was one of the more powerful images that I took away from watching this. And thank you for going, Chris.
And that's at a time where it hasn't been, there's never been a time when it's more expensive to travel than this year.
Oh,
and still 900 people showed up, you know.
Gas alone, yeah, really.
If the economy gets back, I think it might even grow bigger. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. It's not a San Diego Comic-Con. You've been there. It's not New York City Comic-Con. Those are
thousands of people.
Thousands and thousands of people. But this is one of the bigger specialty conferences that I've been to.
And in a way, you know, I don't want folks to think that, oh, only the big ones are. No. There's something that's marvelous and magical about the more intimate cons. Because again, you get to connect with people. You get to spend more time. It's not so much about the hype or the merch. It's about,
we're friends with Teal and Carol Geisander. I met them at a sadly now defunct conference. I think it was called Murderers Inc. And if there were 80 people, that was a lot. It was so there was plenty of time to talk to everybody, which was really cool. Anyway, I hope people got some stuff out of this.
Absolutely.
They can feel free to mock me in the comments. That'll be okay. Or give me some tips on how to be more awake after traveling that far. I did caffeinate and I had my nice Barry's Irish tea, but I was still pretty so there you go.
Oh, and just so that you know, folks, we are going to give you the photos that we talked about. I just felt it'd be cool to have them. We go out with them as opposed to watching them and then he and I jump in here and sum things up. So we've summed things up. We've summed some things up.
One last thing, just so people don't.
One more thing.
Just in case you out there, you people, I see you right out there. There you are.
There you go. Yeah. Look at that person right there. Yeah.
If you think, wow, Alex had an easy week because Chris did everything. No. Alex had to stitch all this together. So if you notice that his hair is a little grayer, that's my fault.
Or it keeps disappearing.
Completely my fault. Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Alex, you want to go and show them the pictures? If you're watching
a little bit of music, a little bit of photos.
Right. If you're listening to this, that's fine. The visuals are on YouTube, but hey, I hope you got something out of it listening to it as well. And we'll be back next week with more fun.
Yes. And don't forget to like
and subscribe.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Music.